As we roll into February of 24, that means it's new VR game time, and that is my favourite time of any month, when we get to talk about what we have coming up across the next month worth of gaming, and that goes for PCVR, Quest, and of course PSVR2 as well. That means we've got a good stuff coming out all round, no matter what platform you're on. You've got some good stuff coming your way. Before we get into that though, I do want to ask one favour of you guys. Let me know which you would like to see out of these games line up for next month on the channel. If there's any you'd particularly like to see me review, or you'd like to see gameplay on, let me know in the comments down below, and then I can make sure that I cover those if there's enough of a request about everything, because it's kind of hard to actually cover everything, and knowing which ones you guys want to see will help me out just a little bit. Now, to start off with our first game coming out next month, Project Demigod is finally making its way from App Lab all the way onto the main store. If you're unfamiliar with this game, this is a game that essentially makes you feel like a superhero, any superhero, because you get to play around with an array of different powers, from Spider-Man to Iron Man to kicking the little snot out of bad guys in a multitude of different places. This is kind of interesting because it's being published by Fast Travel Games now, which brings a little bit of clout to the game, and hopefully it means that it's going to have gone from feeling like an App Lab game to feeling like a premium product on the main store. Next up we have Mixture making its way to the PSVR2. This is a platformer very similar to something like Moss, if you're familiar with that game, where you're going to go in as a platformer and you're going to help out your little character buddy Moth. This is a very cool game. I've played it through on a Quest before, and honestly pretty damn cool. I'm glad it's making its way to the PSVR2. I'm not sure if it has any special enhancements for the PSVR2, probably not with the way things have been going on that platform, but nonetheless it's a very cool one, and if you own a PSVR2 I feel like this is a very chill game that you can be picking up and playing across Feb. Borderbots VR. This is actually a port coming from PCVR over to Quest, and this brings with it a Papers, Please-esque experience where you're going to be going in and deciding which robots can go through the border control and which cannot. This actually has a bunch of fun things in there where you can engage with the robots in very fun and unique ways, and if you're looking for kind of a stationary experience, or maybe even a first time experience on the Quest, this is going to be a really good one for you, as it's very stationary, very much in this sort of esque of Job Simulator where you're going to be stationary doing a bunch of cool things. This is a fun one, keep your eyes peeled for it. It was very fun to play on PCVR, and I'm excited to see what they do with the port coming over to Quest. Dead Hook VR is making its way to PSVR2. This is a title that released on Quest and PCVR earlier last year, and honestly this is a very fun roguelike game made by Joyway, the same people that made Stride, giving you the ability to basically hookshot around a level, destroying demon scum with your laser swords, an array of awesome guns, and you get to upgrade, and of course it has that replayability being a roguelite, which I mean we do have an abundance of in VR at the moment. It's become kind of like the new genre of zombies. But nonetheless, this is a very, very good example of a roguelite, so if you're looking for something fun to do on your PSVR2, again, this one's going to be for you. Max Mustard, another platformer. It seems like we're in the month of either platformers or roguelites, but nonetheless, this is a very cool one. I'm actually looking forward to this. This comes from the makers of Richie's Plank, which is a very different genre change from them, going from scaring the living lights out of everyone and being kind of the backing to every funny VR video of someone jumping into a TV or off of a sofa or something other insane thing. But now they've switched it up and they're making a platformer. This is actually coming to App Lab for Quest, and it's quite a premium price on there, so just be aware of that before you go into this. It's going to be around $30 to buy into this game, but it does look like an incredibly solid platformer. I'm interested to try this one out, although I'm not the biggest platformer lover on, you know, VR games. This still looks kind of appealing to me, and I'm interested to see it. Has a very Astrobot feel to it, so perhaps this one's going to prove me wrong and be an absolutely dope game. Titanic: A Space Between. This is coming to Quest, and honestly I'm pretty excited for this one. I actually quite like Titanic based games, as they seem quite interesting on the surface and they are very fun to explore around the actual Titanic, of course, but this one has a twist. You have been sent back through time to help save someone, but unfortunately you are a week later than you intended to be, which means the Titanic is sinking on your current mission, meaning that's going to be a little bit tougher. This kind of acts like an escape room, but on top of that, not only are you a time traveling dude going back in time to save someone on the Titanic, there's also ghosts and scary things. So it really kind of ramps up the levels of what this game's going to have to offer. I'm pretty excited to try this out, as I'm a massive fan of escape rooms, and well, I don't like horror very much, but we'll see if I can get out a few screams to entertain everyone. Next up is a hard hitter, as Ghosted Tabor makes its way to the Quest store. This is a very exciting moment. I know the community behind this game are going to be absolutely buzzing, and honestly it deserves its place on the main Quest store. With this game you're going to be able to get in there, and of course if you're unaware of what this game is, it's a very much scavenger shooter. You're going to be in PvPvE That's a hard sentence to say, where you're going to be up against not only other people in that island, of course there's AI knocking around as well that you'll have to contend with. In this, you need to literally travel in and see how much good stuff you can be able to extract from the game. If you're familiar with Escape from Tarkov, this is very much VR's answer to that. So you make the choice. Do you go in loaded up to the teeth and destroy as many people as you can while stealing stuff, or do you go in there completely without anything and risk nothing but potentially get massive loot out of it? This game is actually dope, so if you want to check it out, make sure you do, as it's going to be coming out this month. Another shooter with Veil VR making its way to the Quest as well. Originally a PC only game, now it's made its way to the Quest. This is kind of exciting, but I gotta say I'm not the biggest fan of this shooter myself, as I've experienced it plenty of times on the PC VR side of things. This is a cool game, but I would say if you're going to be picking up one of the two, I'd probably look into getting Ghost of Tabor over this, but nonetheless I do want to hit it up because I know a lot of people prefer like an arena shooter, which is what this is. So you have Veil VR. Now, if you're unaware, this is a team versus team shooter. We're going to go through a bunch of different game modes and of course a bunch of different maps, keeping it fresh and clean. I'm pretty interested to see how this comes out on the Quest because, well, they've boasted to look really good on the PC side of things, and I'm just wondering if that is going to translate as well over to the Quest. Now, of course, on top of that, yeah, it's another shooter and we have an abundance of those within VR at the moment, but it does look kind of interesting to see how it's going to come out on the Quest. If you're interested, well, it's coming out this month, so keep it on your watch list. MADiSON VR. Well, this is a game that will actually end your life because it's so scary in flat screen gaming, and now it's making its way to the PSVR2. And it's gonna end some lives there, I'm pretty sure of it. This game is so damn scary, even in flat screen gaming, and now the fact that you're gonna be able to experience it in VR is another level. Now, I can tell you now, my goodness, this video would have to get like 10,000 likes. If it gets 10k likes on this video, I will play that game. That's my promise to you guys and girls. But I'm telling you, I don't think I could face this game without some major incentives behind it, because it is an intense horror thriller game. This is unlike anything else I think we've had in VR when it comes to horror, because this is true terrifying fear. Terrifying. But anyway, if you want to check this out, if you are brave enough and you love some VR horror, then this is going to be the one for you. What a gift to get, because MADiSON VR is absolutely bloody terrifying. Next up is Rockin' Roots. This is a brand new story-driven journey where you wield the power to dedicate the ebb and flow of the battle, summon agnatic guardians, and of course have the power of the magical woods. Well, I don't know exactly what that means, but it sounds pretty freaking dope, and this game actually looks pretty interesting. It's a very different style of game to be coming from this developer, but I'm pretty excited to see it nonetheless. You're going to be conjuring spells, diving into the magic world, and of course reclaiming your rightful place on the throne as the king. What's up on the list is Stranger Things. I'm so damn excited for this game. It got delayed last year, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that means that they have ironed out all the creases, making this a hell of an experience coming out for Quest. Now, the cool thing about this is the twist that you are going to be playing as the bad guy in this, rather than playing as Eleven and the cohort of kids that normally are in the show. So this is going to be really interesting to see it from the other side, actually playing from the villain's perspective, throughout building the Upside Down, and of course, well, taking over those demidogs, demigorgons, and well, scary creatures that live in the Upside Down. I'm really hyped for this game, as you can probably tell. It's also got a mixed reality feature, which I think is always a nice thing to come with any Quest game these days, and I'm hoping it'll have some sort of graphical boost for the Quest 3. I think we can all relate on this subject that we kind of really want to start seeing the Quest 3 exclusive ports coming out, and that doesn't mean that it won't be out on Quest 2 and everything still, but it just means, can we get some graphical enhancements for our Quest 3 games, making it worthwhile owning a Quest 3? That would be absolutely lovely. Anyway, that is going to do us for all the games coming out across February 24. I'm very excited. It's a good month. I'm sure a bunch more will come out or be announced across the month, and of course, if enough of them come out and are announced that there are going to be more games coming out this month, then of course I will make another follow-up video on this. So make sure you stick around the channel, smash like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff, and of course I will catch you in the next video. Peace out. Goodbye.